Hey folks, welcome back. Boy, oh boy, times have never been more weird or tumultuous, and if you agree, then you might as well fall into the top 5 sci-fi action movies, part 5. Elysium, 2013. Neil Blomkamp does what he does, as he did since District 9. And I'm not complaining about it that much, but this time he embellishes his soft dystopia with an absolute brush. He drops us into a late-stage Los Angeles resembling shantytown Joburg in the year 2154. Max DaCosta, a man with a checkered past, grudgingly kept on the straight and narrow by a courteous robotic police force, and a correctional drive-through mannequin who I think is Johnny Cab's cousin.
A street and number.
Shit!
I'm not familiar with that address.
Life is awful for Max, but nothing tops being railroaded into a full dose of radiation at work. It's like the Stanford prison experiment in the factory. Knobhead coerces Max to kick a pallet because he's holding up the line. Apparently that's a freaking death sentence.
Look, either you go in there right now, or I'll find someone who will. And you can go clean out your locker.
Come on, man.
But at least Max has a free medical diagnosis confirming the worst.
You will experience catastrophic organ failure. In 5 days' time, you will die.
And free meds.
My Porol, extremely potent, will keep you functioning normally until your death. Please take 1 pill with each meal. Thank you for your service.
Max staggers home when Andor, his old wispy-haired crime BFF, comes to his aid like Florence Nightingale. Max has only one option of survival. Visit Spider, an underground smuggler who he hopes he can get his ass to Elysium, the orbiting gated community for the world's elite. And every home has their own medical device that can repair people's diseases, injuries, you name it, the whole shebang-a-bang. You see, Max desperately needs a tanning bed session. Spider shows him the means to do so, but for this to happen, he has to hack the info inside the head of the wealthy CEO John Carlyle, whose company, Armandine, where Max was previously employed and now permanently laid off.
Does his skin fall off? I don't want to replace the bedding in there. Just get him out.
And as you can see, it's a small Blomkamp world. So Max is integrated with the exosuit and off they go for Carlyle's head. Please, if you'll forgive me, there is another layer of intrigue and jeopardy to factor in. The info isn't simply defense contractor spreadsheets. He also uploaded all the override codes to Elysium, codes that would reset the central computer and grant everyone on Earth citizenship and access to those tanning beds. So the assault goes sideways and Max thinks that the upload was scrambled, rendered useless. Haha, charade you are! Twice played by a young Afrikaner, Maggie Thatcher, Secretary of Defense Delacour, of course played by Jodie Foster. She declares a no-fly order grounding all aircraft across LA, until Max is captured by Kruger, Charlotte Copley, my man, Delacour's covert operative in LA, and someone not to be trusted. It's a real pit of vipers. Oh, and Delacour is plotting a coup to boot, determined to save himself and his lifelong friend's daughter who's dying of leukemia. Man, Blomkamp really slathers it on thick with the kid's illness. However, well, this helps to justify the med bed's existence because it helps to reconstruct Kruger's exploded head after Max's grenade went whoopsie. Now that he's back and with a vengeance, he plots his own coup and battles Max. Max wins, and the downtrodden become citizens. It's all feel good as it can be. It's kind of crazy how Blomkamp can reuse essentially the same elements and themes eternally from each film and somehow kind of get away with it. So District 9, Chappie, and Elysium encapsulate his strengths and shortcomings. Each film has good plots, filled with conventional plot twists, and portrayed by rather on-the-nose characters. South Africa's legacy of racial segregation is his principal theme throughout, and the technology never seems to change in these 3 movies. And don't get me wrong, it's cool tech, rooted in a conceivable future sense. But I don't know, I like his movies. What do you think? Terminator Salvation, 2009. I have been tormented by one regret for many a year. To see a T-600 go about its day, taking the trash out, mowing the lawn, and home defense. Once the thrill fades, I was left with moderate feelings of regret, kind of like Sam Worthington's performance.
Better this way.
However, he is sort of a second John Connor character, I guess. The dead man Terminator and the prophesized leader of the human resistance act as a post-apocalyptic odd couple, but god damn it, they need each other. Fate is a gamble, and the desert road metaphor and all that, well...
Holy shit.
I need a vacation.
Marcus is part man, part Terminator, an all-missing link for the Resistance to infiltrate Skynet's stronghold. Iron Mike doesn't think so, and he's willing to change the course of history and the future.
I'm never gonna call you Carl.
I'm reliable, I'm a very good listener, and I'm extremely funny.
Because he is an uncompromising hardass who won't accept no for an answer. And this would be #the real Resistance's gravest foible. Say that 10 times fast. Kyle Reese stays occupied running the Resistance's LA branch, busy rigging Wile E. Coyote snares. Marcus, equally starstruck with his first T-600 meet and greet, magically foists himself into Reese's and the mute androgynous kid's life, which conveniently ensures victory for the last of humanity's surviving meatbags. But in order to save Reese, the Connors must confront the first T-800 101 model, aka Arnold's. And right from the get-go, the Terminator rehashed their old go-to tactic, which is human toss. Mark's final sacrifice is like the act of an industry fluffer providing lip service for flaccid sequels. Spellbinding, Salvation is not. It's not unbearable like Genesis or Dark Fate, and it's not fantastic either. Christian Bale's Connor looks like he's holding back an uncomfortable turd, and boy did he let loose on set in his infamous freakout.
I'm gonna f***ing kick your f***ing ass. You know, shut up for a second, all right? Seriously, man, you and me, we're f***ing done professionally. F***ing ass.
And the remaining characters are relatively flat except for Moon Bloodgood, that's a crazy name. What is Salvation's saving grace? The near constant action. I mean, it's fun to see humanity wage war on Skynet with familiar weapons. Warthogs, for example. And my honest opinion of Terminator Salvation is that it's as good or as bad as day-old pizza. But I kind of like day-old pizza.
What is the point?
Jurassic Park, 1993. In a land where we were finally filled with childhood wonder. A blockbuster that transported us to a mystical land where poor suckers were eviscerated by terrifying monsters. And convincingly realistic monsters to boot, because until then, all we really had was stop-motion animation. So when Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Richard famously stood under those grazing brachiosaurs, we were awestruck. The world has changed forever, but childhood dreams are foolish and dangerous thanks to...
Hello, Newman.
Hello, Jerry.
You see, Newman is setting himself up for life by committing some industrial espionage.
750. On delivery, 50,000 more for each viable embryo. That's 1.5 million if you get all 15 species off the island.
And if it wasn't for Goldblum, we wouldn't know what the hell is going on.
Life breaks free, it expands to new territories, and it crashes through barriers painfully, maybe even dangerously, but...
Because on the island, Murphy's Law spits neurotoxins.
Life, finds a way.
And of course, Muldoon was right. They were in a sweet spot for things to go direly pear-shaped.
Clever girl.
And sure enough, a T-Rex burst through its ridiculously fragile enclosure. And given enough time, T-Rex would have figured out a way to escape. So Muldoon called that one, and no one was listening. Idiots. And Attenborough relies on and tolerates Sam Jackson's smoking habit to get the park back online. Kinda late though, as the park becomes a free-range dinosaur ranch. If you will, Jaws on land. A lot of Jaws. The glorious chases and carnage still remain a classic Spielberg movie that shares the limelight alongside Jaws and Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's slick like an MGM attraction ride while Spielberg's touch remains intact. So what came first, the raptor or the egg? Actually, it was a mosquito. Predators, 2010. If Adrian Brody falls in the forest, does anybody care? Well, we'll peel away the topic from the jungle floor, because when you plummet from a palm door to Palmleys, you gotta take a closer look, right, Adrian? The motley breakfast club of life-takers and heartbreakers, minus that 70s guy, are immediately thrown into this ambiguous shitstorm. The harshest detention ever. It's a Predator movie set in a jungle, and that means a familiar storyline. a diversity of hard asses, piecing together where the hell they are and what the hell's attacking them. Discarded crates airdrop ratchets up the anticipation, followed by a dead man's trap intended for something bigger than Arnold even.
You son of a bitch!
Brody tries to fill Arnie's boots with a very serious performance and assumes the leadership position. Some horny hellhounds are released to flush them out, sparking a bullet-draining battle. And can someone tell me if a knife like that can actually half a hellhound? Cuchillo is the first to bite it, but then something weird happens when he's used to lure the rest into a booby trap.
Help me! Help me!
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
By the time the squad discovers a shackled Ayucha, it gives them their first glimpse of the enemy. But thy enemy of my enemy is my friend. At least for a little while anyway. So why is this ugly MFer shackled? And he's a throwback to the original movies, but it looks like a blood feud with Superior Brethren has taken place and they pawned his ass out as bait. So lore of continuity exists.
You one ugly motherfucker.
Isabel even recounts her encounter with a predator.
She knows what it is.
87 Guatemala. A spec ops team went into the jungle. High end. 6 men plus a CIA liaison. Only one made it out. In his debrief, he said they came in contact with something. He gave a detailed description. The thing on the totem. He could see in infrared. He used mud to block his. That's how he beat it. It hunted and killed his team.
And I presume she's recounting Duchess Foray in 1997's Predator. But her name would have been Anna. And in Predators, her name is not Anna, it's Isabella, and she also confirms that she's an IDF sniper. So why would an IDF sniper be in Guatemala, especially when Anna was portrayed as a local guerrilla soldier? Much of this doesn't square very well, not to mention how the squad didn't notice the alien sky as they traversed the riverbed. So I don't know how they didn't notice that one, that seems pretty stupid.
We're gonna need a new plan.
But it is a follow-up Predator movie, so it's kind of expected.
Guy is crazier than the rest of us.
And to be perfectly honest, if this was a standalone movie, not under the Predator moniker, it would be a decent battle royal alien movie. And what about Adrian Brody? Well, this isn't an electric incarnation of Dutch's role. However, he hits his marks, flares his nostrils, and mutters dialogue.
Please stop doing that.
And that seems to work perfectly well for this film. Iron Man 2008. Just imagine how bad this movie could have been. But wait, so this movie was made in 2008 and the Marvel Cinematic Universe wasn't a giant turd at this point, so... We're good. The seminal film came on so strongly and confidently that I think it's safe to say that we were all entertained and impressed. Even if Iron Man was in your top 5 Marvel comic list, Jon Favreau's direction doesn't afford much cause of disappointment, really. But he directed this?
Hi, this is Nikki. Leave a message.
I just got out of a 6-year relationship, okay?
Wait, a color me impressed? Now, this seminal film became the MCU house style going forward, so kudos to him. Robert Downey Jr. lends himself to the Stark character so freaking well. He naturally slips from the cold-hearted playboy Stark to Stark with a heart.
I'm just not the hero type, clearly.
It is Stark's redemption tale wrapped up in what I always thought was the coolest Marvel hero. And his character arc is aided by a strong cast who act as straight men and women, rolling with Tony in his wacky ways as he tries to privatize peace.
I have successfully privatized world peace.
But the Arbiter is a lethal weapon which inevitably falls into the wrong hands, like terrorists or Obadiah, subtly played by Jeff Bridges. Iron Man is holistically a sharp, smart, visually stunning Marvel romp with an intelligent and lived-in script to match. I'd say that the lore is sufficiently intact, and I haven't read a comic, let alone my go-to Iron Man, since I was a kid. But if I use the powers of my foggy old brain, Iron Man seems to do justice to the spirit of the comic, god damn it. Fitting Robert Downey Jr.'s charismatic frame into the racing red sports suit was a coup de grace. God damn, why couldn't the Marvel Cinematic Universe maintain this golden touch, rather than gradually voyaging up their own ass? Nothing lasts forever. Seriously. Alright, boils and gargoyles, that wraps up today's list. Will this be my last video? The freaking algorithm is suppressing my videos like you wouldn't believe? Maybe because my face isn't in them, that's why I'm doing this. It's stupid. Possibly to weed out AI-generated content, which I don't disagree with. Nonetheless, I'll see if this one is allowed out of the shallow end of the pool. Until then, I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out! Please help support the channel by giving this video a resounding like. And don't forget to share and subscribe to the channel. So keep your head down and check your six, and I will catch you in the next one. But if the... We're good.